Most men think a woman will clearly tell you when she's emotionally attached. But the truth is, the more emotionally attached she becomes, the harder she tries to hide it. Because feelings make her vulnerable, and most women hate feeling emotionally exposed. If you miss these signs, you might walk away from a woman who was already deeply invested in you. Today, we are breaking down the hidden signs she's emotionally attached, even if she pretends she isn't. And trust me, the last sign is the one most men completely misunderstand. Women rarely communicate emotional attachment directly, especially in the beginning when emotions still feel uncertain and risky to them. A woman can act cold, distant, even confusing, while secretly thinking about you all day. Why does this happen? Because emotional attachment changes female behavior in subtle psychological ways. And unless you understand female psychology, you will only focus on words. Emotionally attached women reveal themselves through patterns, tiny reactions, emotional shifts, jealousy, consistency, and protective behavior. Once you learn these signs, you stop guessing and start seeing the truth clearly. A woman who is emotionally detached forgets information easily, but a woman who is emotionally attached stores small details without even trying. Your favorite drink, your habits, your stress, and random stories stay in her mind. These details matter because attention follows emotional investment. Women naturally focus on what emotionally affects them the most. That's why attached women unconsciously study the man they care about. Many men misunderstand this completely. They think remembering details simply means she is being nice. But there is a huge difference between politeness and emotional focus. When a woman is attached, your existence starts occupying mental space in her mind. She remembers things because emotionally attached people naturally observe deeper. And sometimes she pretends it's accidental, even when it means everything emotionally. People only mentally replay individuals who emotionally matter to them. A woman who does not care emotionally will not study you unconsciously. But an attached woman will, even when she tries not to. The next sign becomes even more revealing psychologically, because emotionally attached women react differently when other women appear around you, and most men completely fail to notice it. When a woman becomes emotionally attached, your attention gains emotional value. And once attention gains value, competition creates emotional tension automatically. That is where subtle jealousy and emotional shifts begin to appear. Now, this does not always look dramatic like movies show. Real emotional attachment is subtle, controlled, and psychologically hidden. Sometimes she simply becomes quieter, more observant, or emotionally different. She may suddenly become more playful or more interested around you. Sometimes she lightly questions another woman while pretending she is just curious. But underneath that behavior is emotional investment and emotional protection. Emotionally attached women dislike uncertainty around the man they care about. Even if they never openly admit it, their emotions still react subconsciously. Because attachment naturally creates fear of emotional loss. This is why some women become colder after seeing you with another woman. Not because they stopped caring, but because they cared more than expected. Instead of showing vulnerability, they hide emotion behind distance. Many men misunderstand this behavior completely. They think, she pulled away, so she lost interest. But sometimes the opposite is actually true psychologically. Emotional intensity can scare emotionally attached women, especially when they feel they are losing emotional control too early. And emotionally attached women hate feeling emotionally exposed before trust forms. Another major sign is when she looks for reasons to contact you. Women rarely chase directly, so they create opportunities instead. That is how emotional maintenance begins subconsciously. She sends random memes or unnecessary questions. She shares updates about her day and replies quickly to stories. And suddenly, conversations keep happening for no reason. On the surface, it looks casual and harmless. But psychologically, it is emotional maintenance and emotional access. Because emotionally attached people dislike emotional silence. Once attachment forms, your presence starts affecting her emotional state. Hearing from you creates emotional stimulation and emotional comfort. That is why attached women naturally seek connection repeatedly. Many women hide attachment through indirect communication. She may never directly say, "I miss you," because vulnerability feels risky. Instead, she sends random messages to maintain emotional closeness safely. This is why emotionally attached women appear randomly consistent. You somehow keep hearing from them again and again without explanation. Because attachment slowly turns communication into an emotional habit. And if communication suddenly disappears, she notices immediately. Because emotional habits slowly become emotional needs over time. That is why emotionally attached women struggle to disappear completely. If you're understanding these signs so far, comment below. Most men miss this. And subscribe because the next signs become much deeper psychologically. Especially sign number 6, because that one exposes attachment almost every time. Another powerful sign is emotional vulnerability. Women protect emotions carefully, especially with men they are unsure about. So when she slowly reveals insecurities or fears, pay close attention. Emotional openness is emotional risk. And people only risk vulnerability where emotional value exists emotionally. That is why attachment often starts with small emotional doors opening slowly. She talks about childhood memories and past heartbreaks. She shares stress, fears, dreams, and private emotional experiences. And the important part is, she watches your emotional reaction carefully. Emotionally attached women constantly test emotional safety. They want to know if they can trust a man emotionally long-term. And this is where many men completely fail psychologically. Most men think attraction is only physical. But emotional attachment grows through emotional understanding and emotional safety. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her guard lowers naturally. If she keeps returning to emotional conversations with you, notice it carefully. That behavior is rarely random or accidental psychologically. It means your presence is becoming emotionally comforting to her. Comfort is one of the strongest signs of emotional attachment. Because women emotionally attach to men who make them feel emotionally understood. Not just desired physically, but emotionally understood deeply. Now we reach one of the most misunderstood signs. Because emotionally attached women sometimes pull away after strong connection moments. And most men panic immediately when this happens. A woman spends amazing emotional time with you. The chemistry feels intense, emotional, and deeply real. Then suddenly, she becomes quieter and emotionally controlled. Most men assume this means emotional detachment. But sometimes it is actually emotional processing and emotional protection. Because emotional intensity can overwhelm emotionally attached women. The stronger the feelings become, the more careful she becomes emotionally. Why? Because attachment creates emotional risk and emotional vulnerability. And humans naturally fear losing emotional control over someone important. Temporary emotional distance after deep emotional moments is common. That behavior is often emotional protection, not lack of feelings. Especially in women who struggle to trust emotionally. Many emotionally attached women hide feelings because the emotions became too real. That is why they sometimes become emotionally inconsistent suddenly. Not because they feel nothing, but because they feel too much. Another subtle sign appears through emotional synchronization. When a woman becomes emotionally attached, your mood affects her mood deeply. And this is one of the clearest signs psychologically. If you seem distant, she feels it immediately. If you sound stressed, she notices your tone and energy quickly. And if you are happy, her emotional energy changes too. This happens because attachment creates emotional synchronization subconsciously. Her nervous system slowly starts reacting to your emotional condition naturally. And most women do not even realize they are doing this. She checks if you are okay emotionally. She studies your mood and notices small emotional changes. Things other people ignore completely, she notices instantly. Sometimes she even becomes upset when emotionally disconnected from you temporarily. And the craziest part is, she may still verbally deny all of it. But behavior always exposes emotional truth eventually. This is beyond simple attraction psychologically. Attraction wants excitement, but attachment wants emotional connection and closeness. That is why attached women deeply care about your emotional state. Your silence affects them emotionally, your stress affects them emotionally, and your approval slowly becomes emotionally important to them. Once this happens, you are no longer just another man emotionally. You become someone emotionally important inside her internal world. And that changes female behavior completely. The final sign is the strongest of all psychologically, because this is when she subconsciously starts seeing you as part of her future. And most women do this without realizing it consciously. Emotionally detached women keep the future separate. But emotionally attached women slowly start speaking in we, naturally. Without thinking about it, you appear inside future scenarios. She mentions future trips and future experiences together casually. She talks about movies, places, and things both of you should do someday. And these comments usually sound small and harmless. But psychologically, future inclusion reveals emotional integration deeply. Because emotionally attached people naturally place important individuals into future thinking. That means emotionally, you no longer feel temporary to her. You became part of her imagined emotional future. And women rarely emotionally invest future thinking into men they do not value deeply. That is why future-oriented language matters so much psychologically. Even if she still hides feelings emotionally, behavior reveals the truth. Future inclusion exposes emotional attachment deeper than words ever could, because emotions always leak through behavior eventually. The truth is, women rarely reveal emotional attachment directly at first. Fear, pride, heartbreak, and emotional caution make them hide feelings longer. But emotional investment always reveals itself through consistent behavior. Attention, vulnerability, jealousy, emotional reactions, and future thinking all matter. These signs tell the real emotional story behind female behavior. And once you understand them, dating becomes far less confusing. So if you notice several of these signs together, pay attention carefully. There is a strong chance she feels much more than she admits openly, and most men completely miss it until it is too late. Now I want to ask you something. Which sign have you personally experienced before in real life? Comment below and share your experience with everyone watching. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like, and share it. Because understanding emotional behavior changes the way you see relationships forever. And it helps you stop misunderstanding female psychology completely.